everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. Finally! The reveal we've been waiting for! Sharon owns Crimson Lights! I was wondering who that was. It's like every day I'm in there seeing people I want to see, seeing people I don't want to see. And every day I think to myself, who owns this place? And now I know. Oh. Well, I would say this week is kind of a good news, bad news type situation. I got good news and bad news for ya. The good news is that it is going to be a heck of a lot easier to say the name Cain than it is to say Aristotle Dumas. Aristotle Dumas is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 syllables. Cain is just 1 syllable. So that is going to make my life a whole lot easier. In fact, I would like to propose this week, chatters, that we never say the name Aristotle Dumas again. Who's with me? Let's banish that name from existence. Okay, well, gosh, the bad news, though, for me is that, if all of this was leading up to a Cain reveal, and if it had been Daniel Goddard sitting on that maze bench wearing some kind of like sexy, oversized belt buckle, well, then that would have really blown my mind. It would be a really different scenario if I was sitting here right now talking about Cain as Daniel Goddard. I would be saying, oh, here we go. Nate's got some competition. It would be a totally different thing. Because, if you guys have been with me for a while, Cain was my number 1 favorite guy. And I was ticked off when Y&R fired him. They didn't just let him go. He didn't just decide to not be with the show. They let him go. And I will say, lucky for me, Nate was cast right around that same time. And I was able to very quickly shift my attention. I was able to transfer my affection right on over to Nate. But that does not mean that it was easy for me to forget about Cain. It was not easy for me to forget about Cain. In fact, I have to tell you, I remember being so mad about Daniel Goddard leaving the show that I went back into my Y&R Chat archives and I found the Y&R Chat from that week, and let me tell you, it was one of the best rants I have ever done. And not because I was completely right about everything, but because I was completely sure about everything. Oh, the amount of hubris that Allie had back in the day, and just anger. Absolute anger and over the top. I'm like, am I looking at myself or am I looking at Phyllis right now? It was a crazy Y&R Chat, let me tell you. In fact, it was so good. I'm going to send it out to my email peeps this week. I hope that's okay. I'm really kind of enjoying being able to email with you guys, and I like that. That feels a little more private, a little more Dumas. It feels a little more like y'all are in my chateau in France. So I'm gonna send you guys the Y&R chat from the week that Kane left, because it's not only is it a good rant, but it'll give you an idea of what was going on the show when Kane left. And that's really all you need to know about Kane. I mean, aside from the fact he was married with, he came on as a con artist, he was married to Lily, but I think his exit story is what's going to be really relevant for right now. So if you're one of my email peeps, I'm going to send that out later today. If you're not an email peep and you want to be an email peep and you want to see that clip, I'll have it automatically sent to you if you want to sign up for email at yrchat.com/storylines. I'll pin it. Just remember that link, yrchat.com/storylines. You'll sign up and then I'll automatically send that clip to you, because like the amount of just absolute assuredness that I had about how everything was going to work out with Kane, it was crazy. And then over the years, I've just totally lost hope. Like back in the day, as soon as Kane left, I mean, he was a pretty big sweetheart. Y&R killed Kane at one point, and the fans were so mad about it, they brought him back. The fans loved Daniel Goddard. He was a fan favorite. And then if you watch that Allie's Y&R chat, the vintage Allie's Y&R chat from the week I found out he was leaving, it was clear that they were not investing in the character. They were not interested in him. And the fans kept saying, oh, he'll be back, he'll be back. And honestly, over the years, I just lost hope. I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, you know, it's Kane. Kane's right around the corner. Kane, Kane, Kane. I've seen the theories forever, and I just, over the years, completely lost hope. And now here we are. Y&R is bringing back my Kane, and I am just expected to accept that he is not Australian anymore. I just don't know if I can do that. It might take me like 1 or 2 whole weeks to adjust to this situation, to adjust to this new American Kane, to adjust to this new reality. I feel like I'm at least allowed to have 1 week to complain about the fact that it's not Daniel Goddard. I'll get over it. I'll move on. You know me. I'll get right on the choo-choo train and go right up the mountain. But for this week, I feel like I am allowed to say that I'm disappointed. And the conspiratorial part of me says, well, wait a minute. Daniel Goddard was clearly available. Why would they not cast him? Did he audition for his own role? Did he just not impress the judges with the role that he originated? I mean, I just feel like that has got to be a real kick in the pants. Did they say, hey, look, we're not going to cast you, but we know some people over at General Hospital, and we'll go ahead and get you a gig over there? I don't know. Just saying. He was available, and then he magically comes up with this gig at General Hospital? I don't know. Seems like some shady business going on there. Because also, I gotta tell you, I feel like a face that I recognized would have been my ideal reveal to the whole situation. I think that would have made it really blow my mind. I think that would have made the payoff of all this anticipation, all this waiting, I think that would have made it worth it. Now, I did realize this week that I actually do recognize Billy Flynn from Days of Our Lives. He played Chad Demira, you know, good old Chad. But I don't watch modern day Days of Our Lives enough for that to affect me in any way. I mean, I just can see him and I can go, okay, well, that's Chad. And on the one hand, that's not very good, because any cred that he would have worked up from his performances on Days of Our Lives just don't carry over, because I never saw them. I mean, you could go on and say, Allie, this guy is so great, But I am not going to believe that until I see that, you know? And I'm sure he is going to be great. I'm sure he is going to be great. I have no doubt about that. This has nothing to do with Billy Flynn. 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be right there. But this week, I get to complain. I get to react. And I also feel that it actually, the fact that I don't know him from days probably does put him at an advantage because I have no preconceived notion. I've always felt like that was one of my strengths. You know, Y&R does like to poach from other soaps so that they can get other soap fans. But again, I'm not familiar enough. So it's actually an advantage because then that means that new Kane can just go ahead and make the character whatever he wants because, you know, it's all new to me. But then why not just make him a new character? That I don't understand. Why not just make him a new character all on his own? A character that doesn't have a collection of giant belt buckles that strategically draw the eye. That would have been really nice for me to be looking forward to right now. Gosh, it would have been a completely different story if I was sitting here thinking about Kane's belt buckles that were coming. The collection of belt buckles that were on its way to me. But, you know, I will say, so far, new Kane is giving me chest. I'm definitely getting chest, and maybe that will be his trademark. Maybe that's his thing, chest. He's gonna give chest to go with his $1 billion. Hey, how'd you get that money? Oh, tell me the secret, please. Oh, I will. Next week. Amanda led Lily away from the party because Aristotle wanted to meet with her privately. She should have refused. Secret dude wants to isolate her from the group and meet with her alone on his vast estate. Red flag, red flag. And then 10 minutes later, she's screaming her head off in the maze. And only Devon and Damien go after her. Everybody else just stands around drinking their fancy cocktails saying, gee, I hope she's okay. Yeah, I hope so. Oh. Kane had Amanda pull Lily away so that he could reveal himself to her just moments before revealing himself to everybody else so that the viewers won't be confused when he shows up. They needed Lily to say who it was to us so that when he showed up to the rest of the crowd, we could watch the reactions with the knowledge that, oh, this is Kane now. You know, with all that focus on Lily's reaction, it's kind of like, well, I mean, it sounds like they're on good terms, so what's the big deal? The one who should really be reacting to all of this is Devon. Because when you watch that vintage, it's not quite, I don't know, is it vintage yet? Whatever, you watch the old Y&R Chat video, you'll learn about the circumstances that went on around Kane leaving town, and it was very much about Devon. When we last saw Kane, his father, Colin, who was excellent, by the way, and he was from General Hospital. Is he still with us? I think he was maybe sick at a point. But he wasn't even on screen. That's another reason why that Y&R Chat, that old one, is so good, is because I think I was mad at a lot of things on the show. It was more off-screen stuff. I get really mad when off-screen, when all the action is off-screen. And when Kane left, Colin, who hadn't even been on the show, was not on the show, had not been on the show, had apparently, they just decided that Colin, this is great, had off-screen forged another version of Catherine's will, giving Kane all her money. So Kane thought, oh my gosh, Catherine left me all of her money instead of Devon, but Devon was the one who had all the money. So Devon was being told that he was no longer the inheritor. And guess what? It was a scam, and Devon fell for it. Devon put $2.4 million into Kane's bank account just before Colin emptied it out and ran away. Off screen, of course. And then Kane left the show right behind him, supposedly to go retrieve the money for the family. Which just leaves me wondering, why am I still under the impression that Devon is a billionaire? Did I just completely reject and forget that part of the story where Devon got swindled out of his entire fortune by Kane's father? Got swindled out of Catherine's entire fortune by Kane's father? All aboard! Well, I am very happy with our train set. Choo, 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 choo! Right up the mountain. I knew I was gonna love that. Second I saw that train, I love trains. I love the idea of train travel. And through the south of France, I thought that was just really, truly such a delightful visual surprise. Thank you, Y&R. Let it not go unsaid. You really nailed that. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was also a really great way to build up the tension, you know, of even getting to the mansion. It would have especially been effective if it had happened 2 months ago. If we hadn't been sitting around for the last 2 months, you know, wondering about this reveal, it would have been even more effective. But just visually, I loved the old style of the train car. Kind of had a, I don't know, to me it had sort of a mid-century vibe to it, but we're in France, so I don't know. The wallpaper was very Art Deco, and train travel was more popular probably in like the 20s, 30s, right? So maybe it's 20s, 30s vibes, but it was perfect. It was like stepping into a Wayback Machine for just a few moments, and I want to see more of it. Honestly, I really enjoyed it's like we've seen the airplanes. We see airplanes plenty. I can't remember another time we've been in a train. So to me, I found that very captivating, very fresh. Maybe we'll get to see more of it next week, because apparently everyone also has their own sleeping car. And we are not talking pull-out beds here. We are talking miniature full bedrooms. Nikki and Victor were in there. I'm sure Sally and Billy are going to go in there and do you-know-whats. But it was luxurious. Nothing like a real train car, because in reality, even the most luxurious train car is still just a pull-out bed. But not in this world. It's only the best of comfort and luxury from this world and Aristotle Dumas' fortune on Aristotle Dumas' dime. Oh, and the food. The food! I mean, one by one, all of the guests were going on and on about the food. Like right away on the train, ooh, champagne and caviar, because that's just what I want rumbling around in my tummy when I'm chugging up a mountain. Those fish eggs are really settling well with me right now. But there were also like lovely desserts. There was this huge chocolate cake. I was so annoyed though, because Nick served himself up the biggest piece of chocolate cake that you have ever seen. And then he sat there in the scene and ate a raspberry off the plate. That really ticked me off. It absolutely infuriated me, actually. Big piece of decadent chocolate cake, and Nick eats the raspberry. Somebody pass that message along, because it's not okay. It is infuriating. If he had just, like, eaten the cake, maybe he wouldn't have needed to go steal grapes from the luncheon inside of the maze. But everybody was going on and on about how great all the lunch was, and it looks like they had a couple of quiches or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, I don't think that I could have gotten out of that maze to save my life, but it's entirely possible that I might have been able to sniff my way to freedom to get the lunch? You tell me, if you got invited to a mysterious party by a mysterious person in the south of France, and the second you get there, the squirrely assistant tells you that you have to enter into a maze to get the lunch, do you do it? Because I immediately would assume that I was about to get murdered. There's just no way I could do it. I would be like, I'm hungry, but I don't want to get murdered. Oh. But that set, I mean, Y&R has really been stepping up the sets. They have heard us say sets matter, and they have delivered. They have delivered on setting, on scenery, on making me feel like I'm there. So once again, thank you, Y&R. That has not gone unnoticed. I mean, did you also see all of the creative camera angles that they used within the maze? It was lovely. It was probably only a couple of hedge walls, but they made it seem like it was more, you know? I mean, they shot everybody coming around the corners. They shot it directly from above. There were some really great overhead shots. It was clever. Clever, clever, clever. And at the center of the maze, a Mad Hatter tea party. I mean, just beautiful. Beautiful, perfect for summer. Almost makes up for the fact that we've been waiting this long, and almost made up for the fact that as soon as everybody got to the center of the maze, guess what? There was yet another Dumas delay. I loved that everybody got brought up the mountain in strategic groups. You know, I thought that was really great pacing, and it really gave me a chance to get a look at what everybody was wearing. It was all, the dialogue was all just more, who do you think it is? I don't know, whatever, let's take a look at the outfits. I mean, I have to talk about Sally. I want to start with Sally because dreads. It looked like she had her braids. I don't know. I really appreciate Sally's bold hairstyles. It would be easy for me to rip on it, but I have to say, I mean, it's unique. It's her style. Those gold rubber bands or beads or whatever it was, they are just so different and so original and so uniquely Sally. And I mean, who would ever think to do 2 braids on the side of her ears? You know, it was like an updo, and then we're just gonna do some braids with some gold rubber bands or beads. You know, I mean, it's just so different that I have to appreciate it. It's not my style, but it certainly is hers. The palm frond crop top did not seem right for the elegant occasion. She looked like she was going to the beach, not a elegant garden party. She did slightly tone it down for the cocktail hour, but it was still very palmy, still very beachy, and with lots of back. I mean, good for her on the back. Her body looks great, just so great. I thought Billy really was given Hampton's vibes. They just both looked like they both looked like they were going to a beach vacation. But the best dressed of the week, hands down, was Kyle. Kyle has been really rocking the white and light khaki pants lately. But then he really elevated his spoiled rich boy game by tying a sweater over his shoulders. And no, it wasn't even a tie. He tucked the cuffs together, not cufflinks, the cuffs. He draped the sweater over his back and then tucked the cuffs together for the look. It was like the ultimate preppy. I mean, does Michael Mealor, he puts that on and he has to know I am a doof right now. I am a doof right now. But you gotta just embrace it. Like Michael Mueller, he seems very fresh, very hip. He probably would never wear something like that, but he embraces that this is who the character of Kyle is. And I know everything I need to know about the character of Kyle by that outfit. It explains him perfectly. I don't need to know anything else. I just need the sweater draped over his shoulders and him drinking the $1,400 bottle of scotch, sniffing up on Audra in the maze. Pretty sure Audra's social media posts will reach Genoa City next week. She's gonna end up sending Claire into a cocktail hour of her own with Holden. That's how that's gonna go down. And oh my gosh, Audra was such a blast. I mean, she was queued up. She was at maximum Audra this week. She was over the top. She was happy to be there. She was bringing the fun, bringing the sexy. I just really enjoyed seeing her, luring Kyle in. I enjoyed seeing him fall for it. I enjoyed her arguing with Diane. Oh my gosh, Diane. Lily could have eaten one of her little chocolate truffles off of the dinner plates that Diane had hanging around her neck. I just wanted to rip off one of those little dinner plates, set a little chocolate truffle on it, and then My goodness. Big jewels. But I mean, it was a great contrast. I mean, Diane is usually very understated, and she still was, but big chunky dinner plate necklace. But I also love the contrast of Diane's, very neutral sophistication right next to Audra's bright orange and bright salmon skin tight party dresses. Audra's first dress was all about the color. Neat, bright orange. And then the second dress had some like floral on the skirt part. Lily also had a beautiful floral train outfit. So did Phyllis. But we only saw both of them for like 5 minutes, and then they swapped into their other dresses. Lily looked really lovely. She went with a subdued navy dress with breasts. It was basic dress with breasts. Everything about it looked totally normal except all the breasts. I mean, a deep neckline is really helpful for calming a claustrophobic boyfriend. I find, just from my experience. Oh my goodness. Damien was like, oh, hell no, get me out of here. I want to go back to my mom. Well, we've got good news for you, Damien. Lily's here to save the day, and if you play your cards right, she will be kissing your boo-boos and cutting your steaks for years to come. You're in the right place. It was funny then how Lily had to use her own calming techniques on herself after finding out that her ex-husband and the father of her kids and the guy she apparently talks to all the time is a secret billionaire with a double life. I mean, I don't get it. If Lily talks to Kane all the time, then I don't understand why her reaction was, Kane, what are you doing here? Why couldn't it have been, oh, hey Kane, what are you doing here? It's like instant hostility for no reason. Although I am kind of laughing at the idea that Damien probably worked for Kane right up until Kane found out that he and Lily were getting close, and then boom, fired. There's your panic attack for you. We had like 3 panic attacks in the maze. Damien, Lily, and Phyllis, right? Because Phyllis also had a panic attack in the maze because, she's going to be, whatever, she's fine. She's going to be all up in Kane's grill next week. She had a brief moment of like, I'm nervous I feel trapped, but Nick was able to very quickly calm her down while Sharon peeked around the corner watching. Classic. I have to say, I thought Sharon was very fun this week. Sharon and Sally actually were very fun. Like, I don't know, Sally was there like taking pictures. She really only cared taking pictures of the flowers. Oh, the flowers! I've never seen flowers like this before. And Sharon, I loved her little moment of like, I don't think I should drink the champagne. Is the food poisoned? I mean, after the whole ordeal that she went through, for crying out loud, drugged and kidnapped twice this year, Sharon was like, I think I'll pass. Not even a raspberry off of Nick's plate. But once she got over that, she was really fun because, you know, again, like Sharon and Sally just both felt like they were there on vacation. Sharon was just enjoying the surroundings, lightly jealous of Phyllis, but no real drama. And I just loved her little beaded one-shoulder outfit with the sunglasses. Whatever to the outfit. The sunglasses is what I loved. That was very real and that was very fun. And I thought Nick was fun too. You know, wearing jeans and a polo to the billionaire luncheon. Jeans? I think Victor was in jeans at first too. Like, not going to give this guy the satisfaction of letting him think I dressed up for this. Jeans! Oh, but Nikki did not disappoint, giving us the golden goddess of the garden party and her orange fringy silk kimono-y thing with matching fringy purse and two tight shoes. Had to sit down conveniently in this bench that just so happened to be there in the middle of the maze because her feet hurt. I'm dying. I'm dead. Well, that was fun. Let's bring down the room by talking about something that's a real bummer. So Mariah wants a separation because she cheated on Tessa? I'm confused. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened with Mariah, but I do know that if somebody loves you and understands you and is begging to support you and is willing to forgive you, then I think you should give them a chance. I don't know why you would throw all of that away to wallow in the depths of your mistake. I mean, it just must be this just is just so traumatic. She's just not even thinking straight. So, okay, Mariah called Tessa to meet up at the coffee house this week. And once again, Mariah was being super vague, dropping the whole separation idea on Tessa out of the blue. Just, hi, thanks for meeting me here. I think we should get a separation. And she delivered it in a way that was so matter of fact, like Tessa has absolutely no say in the matter, absolutely no recourse here, absolutely no agency of her own. Tessa was just left completely helpless, completely unable to stop this mystery monster that has, you know, taken root inside of her wife and is just refusing to let go and is just ruining her life. And Tessa had this great moment where she said, do you really think that I don't know what you did? I just, that was a great moment. It was almost her last ditch effort. I thought maybe it was a bluff. Do you really think I don't know what you did? You cheated on me. You got drunk and you cheated on me. But Mariah, you're forgetting who I am. Ugh. You're forgetting who I am. I'm the one who can help you. There is a way out of this. You just have to choose it. So powerful, so heartbreaking. And I don't think Mariah didn't choose it. I thought, oh, this is the breakthrough moment. But Mariah didn't choose it. I guess I don't know. It doesn't see it. There just has to be more. It can't have just been a one night stand. I just can only read it at surface level and think that, she's upset because it was an older man. I mean, that's all I have to go on. All signs are pointing, okay, well, she slept not just with someone else, but with an older man. Now, I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but I have questions and I am compelled by it. Like, Mariah was dealing with this whole Ian Ward thing. He's this older guy, this cult leader who groomed her, who put her in a wedding dress and tried to marry her, and then was obsessed with her, and people lost their lives because of it. And then she gets drunk, and one night the wires get crossed, and this yucky thing happened, whatever it was. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the idea that Mariah is getting a story that is very psychological and very human because, wires get crossed. Brains get messy. Decisions get made. I mean, there's the drama for you. The part that is surprisingly less appealing to me is that in some way I feel like this whole story is less about Mariah and more just about pushing Tessa into Daniel's arms, which is exactly what happened. Mariah broke up with Tessa, walked out of the coffee house. Daniel walked into the coffee house, and Tessa literally threw herself into his arms. Well, okay, that's very soapy, but I don't want whatever it is that Mariah is going through to just be a side note. I mean, it's an incredibly deep wound, clearly, if she's pushing away the people who love her and is refusing to get help. And honestly, I'm more interested in Mariah's part of the story than the will they, won't they, of course they will, of Tessa and Daniel's relationship. This week, Danny told Daniel that he wants to ask Christine to marry him. Do you think she'll say yes? Do you think she'll say yes? You big lug. Of course she's gonna say yes. You are letting all of this hairspray go to your brain. She is gonna say yes, and if she doesn't, I will, Danny. Oh my goodness, after all these years, Danny and Christine are older and wiser and getting it right this time. I will be so happy for them. I mean, I really couldn't be more happy for them. But I really hope that we actually get to see this. I want to really experience this firsthand. I want to see the proposal. I want to see the wedding. And I want to see the shocking return of Paul peeking out from the bushes as they say, I do. I did not expect to be back all in on Adam and Chelsea because they're really not one of my favorite romantic pairings of all times, but they really are making me feel it this time around. I loved their passionate kiss and their declaration of love at society this week, and I loved them romping on the couch at Newman Media while everybody else was in France. The one thing that bothers me though is, why is Chelsea so hell-bent on saving Billy when he is starting a competing media company? I mean, I know Y&R tried to explain that last week, but it just still doesn't stick with me. I can buy that she feels loyal to Billy. He saved her from suicide, and I don't even think that the show has mentioned that. It seems more that they're focusing on her feeling guilty for cheating on him, but for her to stick her neck out so far at this point and to force Adam to stick his neck out at the same time, it's just a bridge too far. She's putting Adam into this awful position with Victor, And there's almost no attention being paid to that. There's nobody checking Chelsea. Why is Chelsea's position the right one? Why can't Adam's feelings and relationship with his family matter? Adam is between a rock and a hard place, and he's just going along with whatever it is that she wants, knowing that he's the one who is going to have to endure the wrath of Victor when he decides not to take the shot at Billy. And frankly, why shouldn't Adam take a shot at Billy? We've had all these years of Billy hating Adam relentlessly over Delia's death, and Adam has always turned the other cheek. And so I guess this is just him doing it some more, but it feels like it's more because it's just what Chelsea wants. I don't know. I think the zombie invasion was successful, and Adam and Chelsea both need to get their brains back. One cucumber's not gonna matter. That's my quote for the week. Do you know who said it? One cucumber's not gonna matter. If you think you know, you should go to yrchat.com and check and see if you got it right. Hey, I've got a birthday shout out. Tina B. June 26th. Tina B, this is a big week. It's gonna be birthday and big reveals. I guess the reveal was technically this week, but next week's going to be the follow-up momentum. I hope you have a beautiful birthday. Will there be a garden party in the maze? What if your family sets up a maze and your birthday cake is in the middle of it? I hope that's the case for you, Tina. Happy birthday. Oh, Russell says, Daniel and Danny's time together was really good. Daniel's such a good actor. When he was discussing his difficulties dealing with the loss of Heather, it was very real. I could feel it. Yeah, I know, right? I do feel like Daniel did a great job of conveying that. Sometimes I wake up and I reach over on the pillow for her. Like, all of that feels like it came from a real place of grief, from a real person who has experienced it. Sue W. says, a Danny and Cricket wedding, yes, please. It could be epic. I mean, that would be beautiful if they actually gave us a wedding. Oh, my goodness. Sue W. also says, the Mariah secret is spiraling into a dumb story for me. All of her reactive nonsense to what does not seem believable for the strong, grounded character she has long grown into after decidedly working through her Ian abuse and influence. So I guess she murdered an assailant after leading him on in a drunken stupor. Seems like a randomly generated plot that I am not buying. I don't buy her leaving Tessa and Aria any more than I buy Summer leaving Harrison. Yeah, it just was that's the thing. It just feels like it's all like this randomly generated plot to get Daniel and Tessa together. If I felt like we were really digging in on something deep and psychological from Mariah, I would be more pleased. That's less predictable, and at this point Cameron Grimes is so good. I think I'd be more interested in just watching to see what she does with the psychological material. But I don't know. I think the writing is on the wall as to what this story is really about. Tony says, I think the old guy is a refaced Ian. Since he's already dead, she could kill him and not get in trouble for it. Ooh, two things in there. A recast of Ian. I mean, are they just gonna, after recasting Kane with a new face, are they gonna just recast an Ian with a new face too? But you do make a good point that, since he's already dead, she could kill him and nobody would know. She wouldn't get in any trouble. Sherrod says, Tessa should not let Aria be alone with Mariah. Now, that is a good point. I mean, Mariah is I don't know. It's like she seems like she knows what she's saying, but there's definitely an instability there. Who's to say Mariah wouldn't run off with Aria? It's surprising to me that it was just... She said, I emailed you a schedule for when I'm going to visit Aria. It was just like Mariah's word of the highway, we're getting separated. I'm sending you the list for for visitation, and you're just going to deal with it, Tessa. Well, when does Tessa get some say in any of this? It's really crappy. And I just feel like it's, okay, well, we have to make it, Tessa, we have to make it so Tessa's completely helpless in this situation. And yeah, of course she's going to turn to Daniel. This whole thing is about Tessa and Daniel. It's not about Mariah. But Lara says, I think Mariah was sexually assaulted on her business trip. Tragically, feelings of shame and guilt are common in rape victims. They may wrongly blame themselves for having put themselves in a vulnerable situation or for having over-imbibed. If I'm correct, this is a good topic for Y&R to explore. It's been a long time. The last one I can think of is Michael and Christine. Yeah, Lara, that's a really good point. If Mariah had been raped, then it would make sense that, she would be in a cycle of self-blaming, even though on the surface it seems like, no, obviously not your fault. I think that, the internal dialogue of what's going on is different from, a third-party perspective, which is why she needs counseling, of course. But I don't know, you guys. So you guys are reading a lot more into it than I am. Teresa says, I think Mariah went with the older man and either during or about to be consensual or assault situation, he had a heart attack or other medical emergency, and in a revenge fantasy about Ian reality break, she watched him suffer the way she would have wanted to see Ian suffer and left him in agony to die. This way, it's true that she didn't have an affair and she didn't kill anyone. Ooh, that's a really good idea that sort of leaves Mariah without fault at the end of it, I suppose. I don't know. I feel like it's not even going to be revealed. Y&R's probably watching our reactions and then they'll piece together a decision on this in 6 weeks from now. But I don't know. For some reason, I've got no faith that this is part of a larger story for Mariah. Maybe I'm just jaded today. Let's do a new topic. Because Naomi says, Adam apparently can't have a thought to himself with Chelsea around. Yeah, it is that. Even though I am enjoying their romance and everything, he does need to put his foot down with her. He does need to have his own opinion with her. Otherwise, he's just a pushover. And why didn't Adam get to go to the party? I would have really enjoyed seeing what he would have worn. Adam never gets casual clothes. Last week I asked you guys, does Y&R need to pick up the pace? 93% of you say yes. And this week I want to ask you guys about the Kane reveal. Do you feel like this was a yay or a nay? Did Y&R pull this off? This week they finally revealed it. It's Kane. Is it a good twist or are you left disappointed? YRChat.com. Robin says, yawn. Now all the women will be fighting over who sleeps with Tada first. The only interesting character anymore is Phyllis, who on her Instagram is just as feisty as in real life. Audra's number 2 in interesting. Oh yeah, you're right. New fresh meat. Who's going to be the first one to sleep with him? Gary says, when you have a replacement actor coming in, maybe it's not such a good idea to build up so much because the audience sees him. There's not going to be that much of an emotional reaction. A chatter suggested Kane was on the show so long ago that people may not remember him clearly enough to care, but I don't think that's true. Kane's dramatic return can never be what it could have been if the fates had been better aligned at the time of contract signing. There's no doubt about it. The reveal would have had more impact if it was Daniel Goddard standing at the end of the maze. And I think you're right. I think that Y&R fans, if it was 6 years ago, I think the majority of Y&R fans have probably been watching for more than 6 years. So I do think that probably the fans would have recognized the face and it would have been a lot more like, oh. But, yeah, that's not how it happened. Connie says, the long wind-up was a huge strikeout for me. I hope they don't repeat this mistake again with Mariah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's all this speculation around Kane around Aristotle Dumas for the past who knows how many months. What was it, 2 months? And then I just kind of hope that it's not going to end up being the same thing with Mariah. Are we doing the same thing with Mariah? We're speculating about all these different things that happen with her, and in the end, it's just going to be like, oh no, she just had an affair. Just an affair. Gary says, why didn't Kane just return to Genoa City quietly and humbly with his GC billionaire business? I mean, that's a very good question. Does Kane see this as a heroic thing? Maybe he's coming back to say he's returning Devon's money. Maybe he is getting Chancellor back to avenge Lily, and Lily will be so grateful that she will want to reunite with him. I mean, that's probably what it is in his mind, because I think the one thing we certainly know for sure is that Kane wants Lily. We don't know what Kane wants on the larger scale, but we know he wants Lily. Daisy says maybe Kane was being secretive so that he'd be taken seriously. He's achieved a lot on his own and didn't want to be connected to his criminal father, hence the pseudo-name. But I think his deception will have the opposite effect. Hiding himself and his wealth is in line with Colin's criminal past, rather than Kane being honest and self-made. Also, years ago, Kane pretended he was Philip, Jill's son, so maybe he's trying to make it up to her by getting Chancellor back. Even though Jill did sell it back to Victor, Kane may be getting his information from Billy and thinks it was taken from her. Yeah, I think that's a really good assessment of Kane's motivation here. And even in the previews for next week, they're saying, you know, whatever, chance is the chance. I mean, it's got something to do with Chancellor. Yes, Kane is connected to the Chancellors, but he's not a Chancellor. He impersonated Philip at Philip's behest, by the way. Kane didn't just decide to do it. Philip asked him to do it, to impersonate him. But so even after all that was revealed about Kane's true identity not being Philip, they accepted him into the family. But I mean, he was also kind of, you'll see, I'll argue in the retro Y&R chat that hopefully you'll have a chance to view and watch this week, is that I mean, Kane was really more of a Winters than he was a Chancellor. Victoria says, rather than spying on our GC group with surveillance cameras, Dumas could have been more inventive and personal. Why not don a hedge illusion suit and hat? Be hiding in plain sight, and when the time's right, just walk away for the big reveal. GC won't recognize his face anyway as a recast. Yeah, Victoria, why not just put on a hedge suit and do the surveillance? The surveillance was creepy. That aspect was very creepy. And who's to say that the sleeping cars aren't bugged too? Ew. Gary asks, is Carter the breakout star of the France adventure? And is he the murderer? You know, the whole thing had a very Clue vibe. And Carter, if that's his name, I didn't pay attention to his name, he's kind of giving he's the butler. He's the Tim Curry role from the movie. But actually, Gary, you asked the question that I love for this week. Gary says, with Amanda in white, you have to ask yourself if this will all end up in bloodshed. Now, Gary, that is so smart and so true. The white dress is usually a signal that somebody's going to get stabbed or shot. Mostly characters meet their bloody ends wearing some form of white. It's most visually striking. Did you guys see the shoulder pads on that dress suit? Her shoulders were so incredibly large, and it wasn't very structured either. It just looked like a suit that didn't fit her. She might very well be my worst dressed for the week. But will she die? I don't know about that. She always wears white. That's the only thing about Amanda. She is usually in white, so it's less striking. Or it's less ominous, I guess. Ooh, T. Nicole says, could Devon be any less empathetic to Damien feeling claustrophobic? T. Nicole, I mean, if you go back and watch that scene, or maybe you noticed it the first time, Devon could not have given a crap less. Lily was calming Damien down, giving him all the sky above you, ground's below you, and Devon was just back there like, is this really worth my time? He was so not only like unsympathetic, but annoyed, actively annoyed. Steven says, question, where are Lauren and Michael? Chancellor legalities needing consideration. I miss them in my count. Yeah, Stephen did a head count of all of the guests. And you're right, Lauren and Michael weren't there. They came in the previews, which honestly was the most perfect place to put them because all this drama came down, and immediately following it, it's Michael and Lauren walking in, and I think Michael saying, "So, did we miss anything?" It couldn't have been more perfect placement than in the previews. And speaking of the previews, Russell says the previews for next week were like an episode of their own. I have never seen a Y&R preview that long. What was all that talk about? Chance? We haven't seen him in a while, and he's not at the niece party. I thought the new Kane looked like he could be Chance's brother or uncle if I'm following the family tree. Yeah, I think Y&R did that extra long preview, like, don't go anywhere, please don't go anywhere, you guys. We've been building up to something, and yeah, we took a little too long, but I swear we're going somewhere. I swear we have a plot. Please enjoy this 5-minute long preview and come back next week. You're right. I've never seen a preview that long. I couldn't even believe it, nor could I really process it. And the Chance connection, good question. Maybe Allie's Y&R Chat of the past will answer that. Well, let's end on fashion notes, starting with Sharon W., who says, let me talk fashion for Tuesday's show. The Abbotts came onto the train all dressed in white, gray, and black, very appealing to see them matching so eloquently. And again, like the Newmans, Diane's top and Kyle's shirt looked like 70s to me. And Jack looks really handsome in light gray, as we usually see him in darker colors. The wardrobe must have decided that they needed a splash of color, sending Audra in with her eye-popping orange ensemble. Not overlooking Y&R's return to cleavage. As it seems this week, the Sally and Phyllis seem to be more covered up. Oh no, we got cleavage covered on Y&R. Cleavage is covered. I loved, though, your description of it was very like muted Abbott. Jack looking great in that light gray, and then Audra, splash of color. It was gorgeous. Sue W. says, I respectfully disagree on the fashions. I could maybe go for Sharon's top, but the Tara Lock trouser look just ruined it all for me. I loved Nikki's gorgeous tangerine top, but the whole outfit was way overdone, especially the clunky white beads. And Sally, the garish print top with hair looking like she paid a local on some island to get the look. All three girls were giving me an off to a tropical resort vibe. Business? Who cares? The braids did look like I went to Jamaica and I got my braids in Jamaica. That's exactly it. Oh my goodness, Sue W. That's hilarious. Stephen says Jack's etiquette was, as usual, impeccable. Open collar shirt with jacket, standing to greet the lady as she enters the room, even if it was just Audra. The rest of the men are dressed for a rugby scrum. Yeah, I know, right? It was so... Jack was the only one. Jack was bringing the dapper in wardrobe and behavior. Oh, but Victoria says big nicks to Kyle's preppy wardrobe today. He looked so young next to beautifully styled Audra. It's hard to take him seriously when he looks like he's ready to play golf or grab a tennis racket. You know, what the contrast really is Audra and her sexy, smoky, I know what I'm doing. And then Kyle comes in like, who's ready to play tennis? I sort of love it. I love Kyle. I love this version of Kyle. I don't need him to look like the other guys. Honestly, I think it's just I enjoy making fun of him. There is no end to the amount of fun that I can make at him, and I appreciate that as your host. Sue W. says Phyllis's dress is awful and unflattering and sweaty looking. Maybe, is that the train dress? You might be talking about the train dress, because that one had more of like a sweat stain vibe to it. The one in the maze wasn't quite as bad. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't think any of the women's were terribly bad, except Amanda's shoulders. Connie says, we're seeing a lot of handbags. And I can't pick a winner, but Nikki's was the worst. It would make a great grass skirt tiki hut for Harrison's next school project. You are so right. It belonged in a luau. It went for me. I don't know. I was just like, ooh, fringe and fringe. I've got my fringe on today. Can you see in my video? I wore fringe on Nikki's behalf. But you're right. You're right. Definitely the purse had tiki hut, craft store vibe to it. Oh, final comment from Sharon W. says, I love Nikki's Wilma Flintstone white chunky pop beads, as Gary would say. Maybe because they look so nice with the bright orange purse and shoes I wore my senior year of high school. Oh my goodness, Wilma Flintstone beads. I can't even. I gotta go. Yabba dabba do. This feels like an extra long Y&R chat. One thing I noticed looking back at the old video was that it was an hour and a half long for Y&R chat. Did I really used to talk for an hour and a half? I was younger then. I could just go all night long back then. But I mean, I make it to an hour and I'm like, woof. I can't. Oh. Yeah, so I'll send that video out to you guys this week if you're on my email list. If you haven't signed up for my email list, go to yrchat.com/storylines. I'm only gonna do that for like the next 2 weeks, though. I'm not gonna leave it, leave it there forever. So within the next 2 weeks, if you want to see the dramatic Allie's commentary on Kane leaving the show, great Y&R chat. yrchat.com/storylines to get my email. You'll get it automatically. And yrchat.com to vote whether or not you think this Kane reveal was worth it, was good, was satisfying. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm curious to know what the results are going to be. And even if people did not, even if people felt the reveal fizzled out, I'm really hoping that Y&R picks up steam like a train within the next coming weeks. I mean, they have to know they've dragged it out long enough. It's time to get to the action, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that it's there, that it's happening. Oh, and I also did reveal my secret project this week by email. I'm enjoying having the emails. I like having that direct line. The only bad thing about it is now I got comments coming from, so many different places. It's hard to keep track of all the places. That's why I do still like yrchat.com for comments, if you want to get that into the chat, because that's just one consolidated place where I can pull comments from. It's just too hard for me to go to 5 different places to look for comments. I have to streamline this operation somewhere. But if you didn't see the reveal of my secret project, you can go to my website at restlessforest.com, and I posted a copy of the email there if you want to know what my secret project is. Restlessforest.com. What could it be? So much going on right now. I think I need a nap. So I'm going to get going, but I hope that you guys have a wonderful week, and I will be back next Sunday to chat about it all. Okay, I love you. Bye.